come and get it.
So let's try using ifttt. Here we are at the particle IDE. There's the GitHub site. We are going to be working on that, ifttt. A reminder, these videos are on a playlist, so they're getting more there. And we're going to be logging into ifttt. That's kind of what it looks like. So let's go grab the file. There's only an INO. Copy that. Let's make a new app. a08-ifttt. By the way, ifttt means if this then that. It's pretty amazing, linking pretty much everything on the web. Speed, not that great. The particle cloud is, a second time lag. ifttt can be anywhere up to an hour. If you really want WebSockets, look at my video. There you're down to 10 millisecond delay with a good internet connection. So, make sure you save. Here's the file. Let's get so we can see that. Why isn't it crunching down? I guess it's still saving. There we go. Okay, now ifttt is completely based around the subscribe, where you listen to ifttt, and it's activating this my D7 function, which is at the bottom here, my D7 function. And it's on publish, where you publish to ifttt. I've set everything public. Once it's working, probably a good idea to switch it around to private. Same with your subscribe. It's not as simple for the public. It uses the word my devices. So instead of that line, you would unbracket those lines. Let's look at the code. It's got a couple of booleans starting out as false. You could probably do this code a lot easier with a long delay. The problem is you can't send thousands of publishes to ifttt. It'll bog it down. So what I do, I kind of send one and then I shut down that ability until you reset it. You're setting up two push buttons, both to 3v3, one to D2 and the other to D4. D4 resets, D2 sends the publish. So here's our setup. We've got D7 is just going to flash. It's an LED. D2, input pull down, means there's no electricity until you set electricity. It's good with when you're reading digital pins, because there might be some fluctuating electricity in the lines that activate it. So you pull it down so there's no reading. This just says if ifttt sends that command, then we run this function. Here's our main loop. There's a delay of 10 milliseconds. If that boolean is true, and if digital reading is high, meaning you've pushed the D2 button, then publish that thing to ifttt, sending this bit of information. You could send numbers, you could send whatever you want. 60 is always there, and once again, it's public. If it's working, I would switch it to private. And then set the publish boolean to false. If it reads from D4, this is the reset, then it sets both these booleans to true, and then it flashes really quickly D7. And as long as that D4 is pushed, every 10 milliseconds, it's going to start flashing those again. I'll show you that. The D7 function has some interesting past variables to it. The only really interesting one is data. Okay, so if do subscribe is true, our data, we're going to send secret stuff, and we're going to flash the D7 for 2 whole seconds. That's how it's different than the reset, which is a quick flash. This is actually a long flash. And that's the code. It's more code than I would have liked. It could be done easier, but I find this bit of code works better with the students. What next? In ifttt, first of all, you need to go to Services, and I always just put in particle. There's our particle one. If I click on Settings, it'll show some of my private stuff, but that's kind of what you need to do. You have to set up your particle with ifttt. So what we're going to do now is we're going to make a new applet, and if this, then that. So if this, we're going to grab from particle an event. This is nice. Monitors a variable. This monitors a function. This monitors your device. So if your device shuts down, you can send a text message or an email to yourself. But we're going to do an event this time. The event, oops, better copy what that event is. It was the one that is the my. You got to get these exactly. And a really good idea for you to change that 555 to something more private for yourself. So there's the event. We're not actually checking anything on it. I'm running on MSS 26. So we're creating the trigger. The trigger meaning ifttt, if I ever send anything, that will be triggered on the ifttt website. Now we actually choose it to do something. This time I'm just going to go back to the particle. We're going to publish an event to the particle, and our event is going to be the event name, which happens to be the same as the my whatever it was called, my something on 555. We are not going to do any data. I think we're going to delete that. So it just sends that secret stuff. And first of all, I always do them public to start with, and then make them private later on. So let's see if that's happy. Okay. So we're going to go to the Photon, watch a little video of us setting it, and then I'm going to make a new applet. Okay. So, oh, don't forget to click finish. It's not actually done until you click finish. So there's that. Now, so here's the arrangement. Notice that just is resetting. Click that. Now the other applet, let's see if I can find my applets. This site changes every once in a while, so I kind of get lost. So now all we did could have actually worked from the cloud, Particle Cloud platform, where you publish an event and then subscribe to the event. So what if we want to do something else? So here I'm going to look at my settings for this one. You can set this up on your own. Once again, my lamp on 5555, change those numbers. Nothing there. MS26 is my Photon. Now it's going to add a row to the spreadsheet, same event name, and it's going to do a bunch of information there. And I've given it a folder name, my stuff, and wow. First time it'll actually make the file with that name, the event name. You could change that to whatever you want. Anyway, we can save that and see how things go. So here's the arrangement. Notice that just is resetting. Click that, then go up to here. This is my spreadsheet, which obviously has done a few a little while back. Now, a reminder, this stuff isn't instant. ifttt promises it'll kind of send it in about an hour. So I'm just going to hang out here for a few seconds. Notice the secret stuff that we sent from the Photon. It could be numbers, it could be analog reading. Once you've got a column of numbers in Google Drive, you can easily chart them. There's just lots of possible things you can do. So they came up. Notice it says 332, but it took, so that was when I actually did the button push, but it took a good 15 minutes to show up here. Sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's slow.